All right. Good morning. As I adjust after the fact. Welcome. Hope you guys all had a beautiful, restful sleep last night and are ready to wake up and revitalize and just give your body some love. So as you're ready, if you are already set up for yoga, go ahead and have a couple blocks handy. I love using blocks to assist in some of the poses. It just helps us get a little bit more open. If not, that's okay. All the poses are possible without them, but if you're going to continue to practice, I highly recommend grabbing yourself a pair of blocks. And go ahead and let's just take a couple moments to begin to center in. Dropping down into yourself from a comfortable seated position. And as we drop down and drop in, we just become present with the breath. And as we dive into our yoga practice, you may find that even just a seated position can become a lot of work pretty quickly. So I'm going to begin to tap into that as you ground down through your sits bones. Feel as if a cord is connected to your tailbone, drawing it towards the earth. You sink into your mat with the gravity of the planet, pulling you towards herself. From that beautiful grounded point, begin to grow up out of the spine, growing taller and taller all the way through the crown of the head. The chin is slightly tucked towards the chest. Your belly button draws up and in, strengthening through the core, using the core to lift you a little bit higher out of those hips. From here, go ahead and squeeze your shoulders up towards your neck, and then roll them back, and then drop them back down. Now your chest is a little bit more open, the heart drawn a little bit more forward. With your hands resting gently on the tops of your knees, go ahead and begin to check in now. Is your core still activated? Maybe you're beginning to fatigue a little bit as we hold this open, straight-spined, seated position. Can you feel the places in your back where they may be holding your body up a little bit more? Can you feel certain areas where the muscles are a little bit tenser or tighter? Just becoming more aware of ourselves. more aware of our own bodies and where we're at in this present moment. Take a deep breath in. Exhale through the mouth. Deep breath in. Exhale through the mouth. One more time, deep breath in. Exhale through the mouth. Gently allowing your eyes to open. I'm going to bring those legs out long. Option here to pillow or block. Lift the hips up and off the mat, above the knees. This can be done on the ground too. If you're on the ground, go ahead and just rotate, ground or block, rotate those thighs in a little bit using the hands. Flex those feet, pull the toes back towards your nose, and interlace your fingers. Press the fingers all the way to the webbing, and then palms come forward. Drawing your shoulders back, squeezing the shoulder blades together, and still dropping those shoulders down away from the ears. On an inhale, bringing those arms up overhead. Breathing here into the side bodies. Drawing that belly button up and in. Keep pulling those toes towards your nose as you press those palms up. Keep pressing the palms up and back. Keep drawing those shoulders down. Just a couple more breaths here. Sometimes, even in the most simple looking poses, we can really be activating a lot, doing a lot of work. One more deep breath in. And exhale, release. Switching the cross of the fingers, pressing them all the way to the webbing. Palms press forward. Shoulders back and down. Inhale up. Up and back. Keep pressing, squeezing those elbows towards one another, tucking that belly button up and in. So if you find yourself slouching back, come on up. Press that chest forward. Are you still flexing your feet? Still squeezing those elbows in. Just a breath or two more here. Beautiful work. Last one, inhale. Exhale, release. Go ahead and shake the arms out. Then we're going to go ahead and do a couple wrist stretches. So I want you to take the thumb, place it into the palm, and wrap your other four fingers around it. And we'll do that on both sides. Taking the arms out to the side, begin dropping those pinkies towards the ground. You should feel a nice stretch across the wrist here. Keep pressing, pressing. And dropping those shoulders down away from the ears. And then pressing the thumbs up. Then rotating the palms down. Still holding that, go ahead and drop the knuckles towards the floor. And keep curling those hands in towards the wrist until you feel that nice stretch. And release. Go ahead, come back down off the block or pillow if you came up. Open up the spine with a couple nice twists. Bring that right leg across, left leg over. Other option too is to have the right leg out long. You'll want the right leg out long if your left hip is not seated back on the mat. So if you have to sit cropped to the side to get that foot around, go ahead, straighten it out. Taking that right arm, hugging the left. left arm use as a kickstand to lengthen the spine. Let's take a couple breaths here into the twist right here. And in an exhale or two, we'll take it a little deeper. Beginning to stimulate the digestive system. And exhale, taking it deeper. One more deep breath in. Exhale, release to center. Unwind. Switch the cross, bottom leg bent or straight. Hips are planted. Left arm across, right arm supports. Taking a couple breaths here in the beginning of the twist. And exhale, taking it deeper. One more deep breath in. And exhale to release. As you unwind, go ahead and make your way onto your hands and knees. Stacking those joints, knees under hips, wrists under shoulders, spreading the fingers. Let's go ahead and take a little bit more wrist stretch here before we come into our cat-cow. So we're just going to do one at a time. This can be a little bit intense. We'll start with the one you can see. Left fingertips point back towards your body, beginning to press that palm back towards the mat. And you may shift your hips forward and get that palm onto the mat, and then just begin pulling them back until you feel a nice deep stretch there all across the front of the forearm. And shifting those hips back forward, releasing that left hand, right hand, fingertips back. Placing the palm, finding that nice stretch across the forearm. And release. Now, top of the hand comes to the mat. Again, one at a time, starting with the left. Once the whole top of the hand is pressed against the mat, maybe you shift the hips back. Again, getting that nice stretch now across the back side of the forearm. And the wrist. And release. Last side. Over to the right and then stretch. And really pressing the whole back of that hand onto the mat. Coming forward, releasing to center. Fingertips spread, joints are stacked. Drawing that tailbone and crown up on an inhale, pressing back on an exhale. Inhale forward, exhale back. Let's go for 2 more rounds at your own pace. next inhale, coming to neutral spine. Left foot comes back, toes are tucked. Inhale, left foot up off the ground. From there, maybe you take the right arm up, finding your balance. Taking a couple breaths here, strengthening through the core, tucking that belly button up and in. On an exhale, slowly drawing that knee to elbow. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, knee to elbow. And lengthen. And knee to elbow. Just a couple more times. Nice work. Really crunch on that touch. And last one. Lengthen. And crunch. And release. Switching sides, right foot back, pressing through that heel. Right leg comes up, left arm comes forward, a breath or two to find that balance. Pressing firmly into that right hand on the mat. On your next exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, elbow to knee. Crunching, crunching, really drawing out on that length, really curling in on that crunch. 2 more times. Lengthen and curl. Lengthen and curl. And release. Big toes together, knees nice and wide, hips back, child's pose. On your next inhale, coming back forward, re-spread those palms, repress all 10 fingertips into the mat, all 4 corners of each palm. From that nice wide base, rooting your fingers into the mat, tuck those toes under, and begin shifting those hips up and back, Adho Mukha Savasana, down dog. Take a peek back at those heels. If you can see them, just swivel them out a little bit more so they're just out of view. Bend deeply through the knees, really press those hips up and back, chest and heart drop towards the floor. Roll those armpits in, spreading across the back. Begin pressing those heels towards the floor. Go ahead and walk those big toes together. Inhale, right foot up. Exhale, step through, low lunge. Stacking the knee under the ankle, pressing out through that back heel. Beginning to bounce a little bit, dropping your hips towards the floor. Keep pressing out through that back heel. Maybe you rock a little back and forth. I don't know about you, but I can feel little grimy spots in my hips. Maybe you make a few circles. A few grimy spots in the hip joints. Just kind of massaging in there with the movement through the stretch. From here, go ahead and swivel that back heel onto the mat. And on an inhale, windmilling the arms up, warrior 2. I'm going to build everything from the foundation and spend a little bit of time. So a little bit of leg strengthening will happen today. Bringing the hands to the hips for just a moment. Double check that that front right heel is lining up with the instep of that back left foot. You're going to spread across the hips here. Can you see your first two big toes? Your first two toes. Your big toe and your next toe when you gaze down. When that's all good, go ahead and tighten through the belly button, drawing up through the crown. Inhale, arms up, rolling the shoulders back and down, gaze out over those front fingertips. A couple breaths here in the full expression of Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2. As the heat begins to build in your legs, take a couple more breaths. On your next inhale, straightening through that front leg. Shift the left hips towards the back wall. Right side body reaches forward, reaching through that hand. And when you can't reach forward anymore, go ahead and drop that right hand to the right leg. Left arm comes up. And as you continue to open across the chest, maybe you take a gaze up if that's available to your neck. If it doesn't feel good, keep gazing forward or down. A couple more breaths here. Trikonasana, triangle pose. Pressing through both feet, gently squeezing through the glutes. Keep drawing out through the crown of the head. And then as if someone is grabbing that top hand, nice and strong through the core, lifting up to standing. Go ahead and release the hands to the hips. We're just going to switch directions with the feet. So get it relined up if you need to. Heel with instep, bending into that front knee. Double check that the knee is stacked above or even a little bit behind the ankle, not in front. Pressing firmly between both feet, opening through the hips. Can you see your first two toes? From there, go ahead and lengthen out through the spine, all the way through the crown. Arms come up, shoulders roll back and down. Virabhadrasana 2, gazing out over that front middle finger. Go a little lower if you can. Continue to draw that left knee back so you can keep seeing that big toe. A couple more breaths here as the heat begins to build. One more deep inhale. Exhale, straighten that front leg. Right hips shoot back, reaching forward through that left side body. You're as long as you can. Release that hand down. Right hand comes up. Find your gaze up, forward, or down. Keep opening through the chest, pressing gently through that left hand into the left shin. Or you can be above the knee, just not on the side of the knee. So calf, shin, floor. Pressing firmly oh my goodness, through both feet. On your next inhale, coming all the way up. Go ahead and bend into that front knee. I'm going to swivel that back heel off the mat, placing the hands, stepping back, down dog. Go ahead and bring the knees back to the mat together this time. Heels come together, pressing those hips back. We're going to start in a child's. And then I want you to take the arms back, grabbing the heels. Forehead comes to the mat still. Then you're going to begin to press the hips up, rolling towards the top of the head. Stretching out the whole back body. Rabbit's pose. And release hips back towards the mat. Releasing the hands. Inhaling forward all the way down onto the belly. If you have a block, take a block now. If you don't, that's okay. Your hands will just go straight back. This just helps a little bit with alignment and strength building. You can still get some beautiful benefits without it. We're going to come up into Shalabhasana or locust pose. So if you have the block, I want you to place so it's wide ways across my back. Place the palms onto the sides of the block. You're not going to grab it or hold it. You're just going to keep it with the pressure of your palms. So rolling those shoulders back, pressing into the block to hold it up. Keep reaching back, press the tops of the toes into the mat. Chest is up, gazing forward and down, and exhale, release. Go ahead and release the block. And the next one, we're going to come up with the legs as well. Strengthening through the back body. All those little muscles along the spine. So on your next inhale, legs come up, arms come up. Maybe you interlace the fingers behind the back. Keep squeezing those glutes. Keep pressing those hands towards the heels. Couple more breaths here. And exhale, release, releasing the hands. Go ahead and press the hips back into child's. Just a little counter pose. For the back bend. On your next inhale, coming forward and making your way to seated. We're going to get into the hips a little bit here. So go ahead and roll a little bit of flush out from under the sit bones. We're going to take that right foot forward, parallel to the front of the mat. Maybe have some blocks or pillows handy. I guess I'll start with my right foot forward. Then from there, bringing that left foot up just above the knee onto the thigh. Then taking your block and filling in that gap. I'm like, I am tight today. Filling in that gap between the left shin and the right shin. And from there, you may begin to lean forward a little bit. Flex strongly into that top foot, protecting the knee joint. Breathing into the back of the hip here. I think we're going to be here for a minute. Just readjust a little bit if you need to. Back out. Come deeper. Sometimes it just takes a moment to get going. Maybe you start to find opening, you can lower the level of the block. Yogi's choice. Option 2 is to just have the legs crossed on the ground with the knees kind of wide and folding forward. From there, just getting into the back of that hip there. Take a deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Deep breath in through the nose, sticking the tongue out. One more time. Deep breath in through the nose, sticking the tongue out. Beginning to press back up. As you release that top leg with your hands, go ahead and take that bottom leg, the right leg, out a little bit further. Take that left foot into the right elbow crease, and then left arm comes around. You begin to draw the chest towards that shin and begin to rock the baby. Maybe you find a sweet spot and hold it there for a breath or two. And release. Straighten both legs out for just a moment, bounce those knees. Keep switching sides. Left foot on the bottom. Blocker pillow handy. So the other option would be to cross the legs away from the body. So they're not crunched in. I have them out, away. Shins are parallel to the front of the mat. And you can forward fold here. Or taking Agni Stambhasana, fire log pose. Right foot comes to just above the knee. You're just warming up. Start with that block. Probably find one hip is tighter than the other. It's very common. So we have a dominant leg, dominant side. Just taking notice of that. So we begin to bring more balance into the body. Just observing, just noticing, and just knowing that wherever you're at today is perfect. You're working within perfection to reach just a different level of perfection. Whatever that goal may be for you, more flexibility, mobility, maybe easing some aches and pains, maybe building strength, whatever that is for you. As we take a few more breaths here, maybe you take the block on a lower level, maybe you walk forward a little bit more, take it a little deeper. Take it as deep as you can here. Come to that point of being decently uncomfortable. And we're going to take a few lion breaths here. So once you find that space where you're really deep into the stretch, you're ready to release a little deeper here. Go ahead and inhale in through the nose, tongue out through the mouth. In through the nose, tongue out. One more time, in through the nose, and tongue out. Beginning to walk yourself back up. As you release that right foot, foot comes out a little further. Right foot to left elbow crease. Cradle that baby. Maybe you rock it from side to side. If you find that sweet spot, pause there. Take an extra breath or two, relax in the jaw, relax around the eyes, relax in the forehead. And gently release, taking your time, bringing the legs out long, giving them one more bounce. Go ahead and swing those legs around, grabbing behind the thighs, beginning to roll back one vertebra at a time. Take this really, really slow, crunching and curling in as you go. See if you can feel each and every vertebra as they touch the floor. Until finally the back of your head comes to the mat. Let's end with a little spinal twist. Actually, let's do happy baby first, releasing through that tailbone. Yoga toe hold, pointer and middle finger, wrap around those big toes. Soles of the feet come up to the sky, pulling those knees in towards the armpits. Press that tailbone into the mat, spreading across the lower back, finding some release here in the sacral area. And releasing the toe hold. Left foot crosses over right. Both knees drop to the right. Maybe you gaze out over that left shoulder. Spinal twist. Inhale up through center, switch to cross. Both knees drop to the left, gaze out over that right shoulder. Inhaling back to center. Release that cross. Let the legs come out long. Tuck those shoulders, shoulder blades under. On the back as your arms fall out and away. Palms up. Find that center point at the back of the head. Find that even weight between each hip as it rests on the mat. Just wiggle around for a moment till you find that nice straight spine, that nice balanced body. For a moment or two, we're just going to melt into our mat. Releasing our control over the breath. In fact, for just a moment, releasing your control over everything. Letting the thoughts begin to slide away. Coming into a space of peace. Musical notes dance through your senses. There is nowhere you need to go. You know where you need to be. Just here, in this moment. Becoming deeply present and aware of yourself, of the space you take up on the mat, the position of your body within the room. With your eyes closed, you can see yourself there. You feel the natural flow of your breath. And you are completely at peace. Your next inhale, taking it a little bit deeper, bringing your awareness back into your body, back into the room. You need to wiggle your fingers and toes. Maybe you take one more deep stretch. And as you're ready, bringing the soles of the feet to the mat. With your eyes still closed, rolling onto your side for fetal position. And taking your last breath or two in fetal before making your way back to Sukhasana, back to seated. And as we wrap up with our last couple breaths here in seated, I'm going to end with another centering thought from this beautiful book that Sarah gave me. So I changed it, the word man to woman, but I will change it back to the general term man in this moment, but humankind, mankind, womankind, humankind. I'm leaving you with this thought. It is God's will to give every man every righteous desire of his or her heart. And man's will should be used to hold perfect vision without wavering. Once again, it is God's will to give every man every righteous desire of his or her heart. And every man's will should be used to hold perfect vision without wavering. So bringing us back to that energy of faith. Faith is believing, excuse me. Faith is believing in what you cannot see. Knowing that it is true, knowing that it is done without any proof, before there's any proof. Knowing that the proof is coming. Faith. Holding that vision, unwavering. And every righteous desire of your heart will be fulfilled. Thank you for joining me for class today. Namaste.